What's up YouTube, it's your boy Stans here, and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon TCG online deck profile here today. And today guys, we are going to take a look at the brand new Garchomp from Ultra Prism, guys. So of course this deck is kind of themed around the use of the supporter card known as Cynthia. If you guys aren't familiar, Cynthia is the Sinnoh region champion, and two of her signature Pokemon are Garchomp and Lucario. Lucario playing a supporting role in this deck, guys. Now, before we get started taking a look at the deck profile that I have for you guys today, just letting you guys know I want to up the deck profiles to 2 a week, taking a look at a bunch of different deck profiles as they get updated throughout the weeks. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to go through like championship decks, based off people performing well with them and whatnot. Another thing that I want to go ahead and cover is that this deck profile that I'm about to give you guys is really just a skeleton for you to go off of. I went ahead and I posted this in my local group for Pokemon, and we had a huge discussion about the differences that we would play and whatnot. So without further ado, we're going to get started with it. So of course Garchomp is our main player, but to get to Garchomp, we have to start off with Gible. So Gible here, 60 HP, has the ability Rock Hiding. If this Pokemon has a fighting energy attached to it, it has no retreat cost. So theoretically, this Pokemon is probably the best starter if you don't have anything else going for you and you still need an Ultra Ball to get a Vulpix or something like that. Starting with this and a fighting energy is going to be crucial. For double colorless, does 20, and it's not the greatest, to be honest. Now, there is another Gible in this set. I believe it has 50 HP, but it does have the attack of Ascension. I'm not sold on it, to be honest. Have I used it before? Yes. I just don't know if it's the way to go. I prefer the Rock Hiding ability. Now, there is another Gible in the standard format, which is the one from Breakpoint, and it is a fighting type Gible. Trying to remember what it actually does, but maybe it might be good to counter using your opponent's Brooklet Hill if they play that, to search out your deck for a Gible, and of course, you know, a free search. You get to see what's inside your deck. The next thing that we're going to take a look at here is Gabite. We're playing 3 copies of Gabite in this version of the deck, 80 HP, and it does have the Ascension attack that I was just talking about. For one fighting, you search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto it, and evolve it, and then shuffle your deck. Has Slash for double colorless for 40. Honestly, we're probably never going to use that. We're here to use Ascension. Mostly it's just a placeholder, to be honest, because we want to get to Garchomp as soon as possible. Now, this is a Garchomp deck, and there is a new Garchomp in Ultra Prism, but we're playing 2 different Garchomps. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is the fighting Garchomp from Breakpoint. Now, it has 2 different attacks that actually could work really well in this deck. The first one we're taking a look at is Turbo Assault. 60 damage for 1 fighting energy. You attach an energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. This could potentially open up your Ultra Ball plays. You could potentially Ultra Ball a energy card with no fear of losing that energy permanently, because you have Garchomp to get it back if you need to. It does have the second attack, Bite Off for 2 fighting. It does 80. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, this attack does 80 more. Now, in the format that we're in, we're kind of leaning away from EX Pokemon, but there are still a few in the format. Volcanion EX being one of them, and Espeon EX being another. So it's 2 cards there that Garchomp can still do really good damage towards, so that's not necessarily an attack that we can just disregard. The next thing that we're taking a look at is, of course, the Garchomp from Ultra Prism. Has 2 attacks, 150 HP. First attack, quick dive for double colorless energy. It does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So you can play this a little strategic. We can go ahead and probably, like, you know, we don't have a Cynthia just yet, but we have that Guzma. We can Guzma up something that has a high retreat cost and start quick diving Pokemon that are on your opponent's bench to try to soften them up so that Garchomp can put it in a one-shot range. Because the second attack, Royal Blaze for 1 fighting and double colorless, it does 100. And if you played Cynthia from your hand during this turn, it does 100 more, equaling to 200 total. Now, the thing is, it's a Dragon type Garchomp, so it is weak to Fairy. The thing is though, a lot of the things that Pokemon are doing recently are creating dual types, and what I mean by that is they create pretty much the same exact card, just a different typing. They're doing it with Infernape, they're doing it with Torterra, and Garchomp is another one that they're doing it with. So of course they are going to give Garchomp the fighting type treatment, and expected to see a lot of play in the near future. Now, of course, I mentioned earlier that Lucario is going to play a sweet, sweet support role in this deck. To get to Lucario, we start off with Riolu, 70 HP, Detect, flip a coin if heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon, and Jab for 1 fighting, it does 10. To be honest, you are not going to be attacking with Riolu, and we are playing 3 copies of it just in case if one of them gets prized. We want to consistently have a Lucario out so that we can perform the plays that we need to of course get the knockouts. Lucario here, it is playing a support role, so you're almost never, trust me, I say almost never. I've done it before, where you have attacked with Lucario. It has Missile Jab, 1 fighting, 1 colorless, 70 not affected by resistance. But the thing is, you don't really want to do that. You don't want to do that at all. You want to go ahead and use Precognitive, or I have a hard time saying that word, or the title. Once during your turn, before you attack, if you have a Garchomp in play, you search your deck for a card, put it into your hand, and you shuffle your deck. Essentially, as long as you have both Lucario and a Garchomp in play, you can search your deck for anything you would like. Anything. Doesn't have to be anything specific, not necessarily Pokemon, not necessarily items, tools, anything like that. The thing is, it works so well because Garchomp requires Cynthia to be used. Lucario can get you that Cynthia to use, and your Garchomp will be consistently hitting 200 as much as possible. Now, of course, we do play other support Pokemon. Other one is Tapu Lele GX Wonder Tag. Of course, when you play this from your hand to the bench, you can search your deck for a supporter, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. It does have Energy Drive as an attack. It does 20 times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. It's a really, really good setup Pokemon to use, and if you do have to attack with it, you can, because we do play double colorless in this deck. It's not preferred to do so, but you can. It is a possibility. And the last Pokemon that we play in this list is Alolan Vulpix. Very similar to the Empoleon deck, we kind of need Vulpix to consistently get what we need on the board so that we can heal, or we can do high damage outputs. So we have Vulpix here for the beacon attack. You search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. This can get you your Lucarios if you need it, your Garchomps, your Gabites, maybe a Lele for the next turn so that you can use a supporter, or search a supporter, or search a Sentient, and stuff like that. So, Alolan Vulpix is a necessity in the deck. And then for supporters, I keep mentioning, you know, supporters are a big thing, and the big one is obviously Cynthia. We play 4 copies of Cynthia. You shuffle your hand into your deck, you draw 6 cards, guys. It is a shuffle draw supporter. And using it, like, once you deplete your hand and you Lucario into Cynthia, you know, it combos so well with the, you know, the Garchomp and the Lucario. It is a good, very, very good card now that it's been released. Now, we also do play 4 copies of N. You kind of don't want to waste your Cynthias at the start of a game. So you do have N, so you can kind of disrupt your opponent along with, you know, you keep going and saving your Cynthias for more crucial plays more along the line. If you guys aren't familiar, each player shuffles his hand into the deck and you draw as many prize cards you have remaining. Then we play 2 copies of Guzma. This is a little different from our normal, you know, looking at playing 3 copies of Guzma. But in this deck in particular, we only play 2 copies. You switch one of your opponent's bench with their active and you do the same. And the reason for that is because there's another card we'll get into a little bit later. We play 2 copies of Bridget. You search your deck for 1 basic EX or 3 basic Pokemon that are not an EX, and you put them onto your bench. So this is your ideal start Pokemon, or your setup supporter card. You want to set up Gibbles, Riolus, and try to get the Vulpix in the active as soon as possible so you can start searching out and evolving the following turn. Now, I did mention, you know, we only play 2 Guzmas. The reason for that is because we play 1 copy of Palpad. You shuffle 2 supporter cards from your discard pile into your deck. It's, you know, people talked about how this is kind of replacing VS Seeker, and it saw play before VS Seeker came out. This deck is really crucial on making sure that you have Cynthias still in play so that Garchomp can consistently be dropping 200 damage on the board. So theoretically, you can have 6 Cynthias or 5 Cynthias and 3 Guzmas and stuff like that. This is, you know, and the reason why I bring it up at the start of the video saying that this is just a skeleton is because I play one copy of it, where you may want to play a second copy, and that's completely fine. I just want to, you know, show you guys this is the way that I built the deck for myself. 4 copies of Ultra Ball. You discard 2 cards, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand. Usually first turn looking for the Lele so you can get the Wonder Tag ability going. And then like I mentioned earlier, you can discard energies because we do have the Breakpoint Garchomp still in rotation. And it would be not necessarily a waste of your energies. Then we play 1 copy of Super Rod. You shuffle 3 of any combination of Pokemon and basic energies back into your deck. Maybe you don't have that Garchomp, or maybe Garchomp got knocked out a little early in the game. You can just shuffle it back into the deck along with energy so that you can consistently keep searching out your Garchomps and trying to get the knockouts going. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher, 2 different abilities. You put a Pokemon from your discard into your hand, or you shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard into your deck. Maybe you have a Gabite ready to go, but you don't have the Garchomp because the Garchomp is in your discard pile. You can grab the Garchomp, put it in your hand, evolve. Gabite's good to go into a Garchomp now. Maybe you need a Cynthia, your Tapu Lele is in the discard pile, you put it in your hand. Or maybe you just want to shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard back into your deck so that you can consistently try to search them out. Rescue Stretcher does have its plays depending on how everything does play out. 3 copies of Rare Candy. This is of course to skip the Gabite evolution and go straight into Garchomp. We play 3 copies. You know, you'll see the Rare Candy. Maybe with the Vulpix you don't have to grab the Gabite because you already have the Gible and the Rare Candy. You can just grab the Garchomp so you get the evolution going as quick as possible. 1 copy of Field Blower. You choose up to 2 of any combination of tools and stadiums and discard them. Now we want to make sure that our Lucario ability is always live. Garbotoxin, it's not as popular as it once was, but it's still out there, and it can stop your Lucario from getting its ability going. So of course we want to go ahead and Field Blower Garb to get rid of their items and stuff like that. Then we play 2 copies of Parallel City, 2 different sides to it. One side will minimize the damage of Fire, Leaf, and Water Pokemon, while the other side will minimize the bench size of, you know, the side that the stadium card is pointing at. And then we play 3 copies of Choice Band. You're more than likely always going to be hitting 200, but hitting 230 with the Choice Band is a really good card, especially if you're facing something like Gardevoir, or maybe, you know, you chipped some damage on a Solgaleo. You know, it'll help out with the Choice Band. Then we play 2 copies of a Skateboard. The retreat cost of this Pokemon is now 1 less, and it can retreat even if it's asleep or paralyzed. Now everything in this deck, minus the Garchomps, are of 1 retreat cost, and the reason why I say minus Garchomps is because the Garchomp has 0 retreat cost. Both of them do actually, so that's great. But sometimes you might get stuck with a Riolu or Lucario in the active, so a Skateboard is easy for you to get those back onto your bench and Garchomp up into the active. As for energy, we play 4 double colorless and 7 fighting energy. Of course, this is just a, you know, it's what you need to attack with your Pokemon. That's pretty much the best explanation that I can give you guys on that. But guys, my friends, that is the deck list that I'm playing for this. Let me know down in the comment section below how you would play this. What would you change? Maybe you want to play a second Vulpix, a second Field Blower. You know, let me know how you guys would change the deck, guys. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Let me know what you guys thought. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time for another Pokemon TCG online deck profile. Peace!